Getting the Toji Physique, while difficult, is achievable for many. Of course, different people have different muscle insertions, therefore chasing a certain physique may not be fully attainable. However, what is attainable is using these characters as motivation to become the best possible version of ourselves. If getting a strong, muscular physique like Toji is your goal, this video will help you achieve that. Additionally, this channel is for you. What I upload is anime training content to help educate and motivate you to be the best version of yourself. If that sounds like something that's ideal for you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. The main components of getting the Toji Physique are going to be patience, hard work, smart training, and recovery. Think of these as like the pillars that if you achieve all four of these pillars, one day you could have the Toji Physique or your own version of it. So let's start with patience. Much like how Toji was patient in hunting down and wearing down Gojo so that he could go in for the kill, you need to be as patient in pursuing improving your physique. Great physiques aren't built in just a few weeks or even just a few months. Oftentimes, you must train for years in order to obtain the dream physique. And even the people that have the dream physique often still think that they have room for improvement. They want to pursue more and they want to pursue better. Why is this? It's because they fall in love with the process. They're not 100% focused on the end goal as much as they're focused on the week by week in and outs of putting in the work that it takes to achieve the physique that they want and to continue improving themselves, to always strive for better. They're in love with working hard. So if you want to achieve the Toji Physique, you need to fall in love with working hard too. You have to be ready to put in the hard work that it's going to take to achieve the physique that you want to create. Toji spent years hunting down sorcerers and cursed spirits of high rank without being killed before he was finally done. It is to be assumed that he trained really hard mentally and physically for years in order to be able to display the level of strength that we saw in the anime, as well as to be able to survive that long in a world full of crazy cursed spirits without any cursed energy. You must apply this hard work to your training. You must seek to work hard in your studies of what you need to do for training, as well as in each and every single training session that you complete. You must push past your limits to become the type of mentally and physically strong person that can survive whatever life throws at you. No matter what hardships life throws at you, you must train hard and work hard to be able to overcome them. This means watching YouTube videos to become better, like the one you're watching right now. This means reading books. This means hiring a coach or a mentor. There's many ways to work hard mentally. If you're working hard mentally, you're going to grow in your knowledge and your understanding and your ability to become a better version of yourself, whether it's your physique or other areas of your life. And when it comes to the gym, working hard means you must push to failure. You don't always need to be pushing to failure. However, if you don't know what pushing to failure feels like, if you don't know what it feels like to truly work hard in the gym, you need to learn what that feels like. You need to train to failure every once in a while so you know what hard work feels like in the gym. While it may not be smart training to train like this all the time, you need to know what training to failure feels like in order to succeed and be able to have a smart program. So if training to failure all the time isn't smart, what is smart training? How do we train smart to get the Toji Physique? Smart training can be really challenging to nail down and define exactly what it means. But to me, here's some things that I would include on my list of what smart training should and could look like. Number one, follow a structured program or hire a coach to create you a structured program. Number two, have a structured program that is designed to work towards your personal goals. Number three, making exercises a little harder each week of the program until you reach the last week of the program, potentially hit failure the last week of the program, and then you reset at the start of a new program or a new block. Number four, having good controlled technique for the exercises you're performing. Number five, using a technique style that is well suited for the goals that you have. So let's talk about these things in the context of what they mean for getting the Toji Physique. Following a program will always be better than not following a program. If you need a program, I have left a link in the description below of my library of programs that I have on the Train Heroic app, including a How to Get the Toji Physique program. Take a look and see if any of those programs seem interesting to you. If you want to support me by buying one of those programs and it helps you make gains, that makes me happy. However, if you find a program elsewhere, I'm not going to feel hurt about that at all. I want you to succeed, whether it's with one of my programs or any program out there. Well, having a program is vastly better than not having a program, and it probably gets you 90% of the way there. How do you get that last 9 to 10%? I'll say 9% because I don't think you can have a 100% perfect program, but I think you can get that last extra little bit of following a program that better suits your goals to help you get that like 99%. There's going to be some programs that are better than others, specifically for the goals you've set. And based on what those goals are, is going to help you pick the right program for you. So what makes a good program for getting the Toji Physique? Well, I would say it includes targeting muscle groups that Toji has well developed in his physique. These include the shoulders, the lats, the glutes, and the quads in order to make your waist look smaller and really give you that X-frame look. Now, I could probably give a large breakdown on each of these individual muscle groups, but for the sake of keeping this video a little bit shorter and not making the video like an hour long, here's some basics. For lats, you could hit pull-ups and single arm lat pull downs in order to make your lats wider. Lateral raises are a go-to for your shoulders. For your glutes, you're going to want to get on the abduction machine or do some clamshells and maybe include some hip thrusts for good measure. And for quads, I personally recommend a hack squat, squatting down nice and deep and pausing in the bottom. This is a little bit of a sneak peek about what we're going to talk about when it comes to technique a little bit later in this video. Now, for Toji's strong looking upper body that will strike fear into your enemies, you're going to want to develop your upper chest as well as your traps. For upper chest, I recommend barbell incline bench press. And for traps, I recommend barbell or dumbbell shrugs. Finally, Toji has a chiseled six-pack. This means you're going to need to hit your core in order to develop your own. I recommend weighted crunches, leg raises, lying or hanging, cable rotations, and back extensions to develop all elements of your core. Core muscles tend to be harder to progress with weight on exercises. So my pro tip when it comes to training the core is to increase weight on exercises where you can, and on exercises where you can't increase weight, to increase reps or sets over time, or to progress exercises to harder variations. So unlike the core muscles, many of the other exercises I listed, you are able to progress by adding weight. In order to build muscle, you need to increase weight of the exercises you're doing over time. And if you want the Toji physique, you need to build muscle. Ideally, each week of a program, or maybe every 2 weeks, you are increasing the weight of every exercise you're doing. And ideally, on the last week of a program, you are reaching failure or near failure on most exercises. Then, at the end of a program, you should restart that program and you should reset all of the weights so that they're heavier than what you did in week one, the first time you ran that program, but they're not as heavy as you ended that last program. And then you should progress them again for the time length of that program until you reach failure or near failure again. And if you reach the last week of a program and you don't feel like you're that close to failure on your exercises, feel free to take the last set all the way to failure and see how close you are. If you've been doing a certain weight for 10 repetitions and you do an AMRAP on it and you find out you get 20 reps, you now know that you need to increase the weight of that exercise by quite a bit because you were able to do double as many reps. Repeat this process until you've ran a program 2 to 6 times. Or you could run it more than 6 times if you really enjoy that program. If you're hitting a plateau, then it's probably time to change the program, even if you're still enjoying it. However, if you're not enjoying it, don't feel the need to keep running it. Switch up the program. Hit something different. Pro tip: track your workouts on a workout tracking app like Train Heroic or with a pen and paper to ensure that you're remembering the weights that you did the last week and to ensure that you're doing this process correctly. Finally, let's talk about the technique you need to use in order to get the Toji physique. Much like Toji, you need to become a master of your technique. But what does mastering technique look like? Depending on who you talk to, the answer to that question can widely vary. I personally don't think that one singular correct technique exists. I think it's largely goal dependent. What technique you use could be different depending on if you're trying to train for strength, like a power lifter, or train for aesthetics and to get a certain look, like a bodybuilder, or if you're training like an athlete. That can largely determine what technique should look like for you and what correct technique looks like for you. So instead of trying to talk about what technique works best for everybody, I'm going to keep this specifically focused on what technique should look like in order to develop your Toji physique, in order to bodybuild, essentially, because whenever we're talking about physique improvement, that is what we're talking about. We are talking about building muscle and we are talking about bodybuilding. Some recommendations that I will make are taking exercises to a full range of motion, controlling the eccentric portion of your movements, and pausing in the stretched position. All of these things are going to bias a little more towards bodybuilding and physique development. They might not work great for you if your goals are more strength related or something that isn't physique development. These things will also influence your exercise choice. You'll remember earlier in this video, I chose a hack squat. You might be asking why this and why not, for example, a barbell back squat. Well, for one, I think it emphasizes the quads a little bit more, but it's also easier to achieve the three principles I just spoke about. You can squat lower because you're in a supported machine, and because you don't have to worry about balance and other things, it's easier to control the eccentric and pause in the bottom of a hack squat. However, if specific machines aren't available to you, you could, for example, change this movement out with a pendulum squat or a belt squat. Or if you don't have machines and you only have dumbbells or barbells, you could do a dumbbell goblet squat or a barbell back squat. It's totally fine. You can still apply these principles to these movements. It's just sometimes these principles are a little bit easier applied to certain movements, and therefore you're going to bias towards doing those movements if your goals are a certain thing. In this case, if your goal is to build the Toji physique, you're probably going to bias a little bit more towards machine movements because it allows you to adhere to these principles. Finally, if you want to build the Toji physique, it's not enough to just train for a long period of time, train hard, and train smart. You have to recover from that training. Lots of things can influence your recovery. However, this video is already quite long, so I'm going to keep the recovery section here short and sweet. I cover recovery in a lot of the videos I do, so if you want to learn more about recovery, go back and watch videos I've done in the past, and you'll get a little bit more information on this. And I cover this for good reason. Recovery is arguably more important than the training itself. The two biggest factors impacting your recovery are going to be your protein intake and your sleep. So, to keep this short and sweet, eat 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight and sleep 7 to 9 hours a night on average. If you're not doing one of these two things, or you're doing neither of these two things, and you start doing both of them, your recovery will drastically improve, and so will your training quality. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about developing that anime character physique, check out this video I did on developing the Baki demon back and continue to grow your knowledge muscles on your journey to become the strongest version of yourself.